Prominent Spokane developer and architect Ron Wells is among 22 defendants listed in a federal indictment. These people are accused of multiple fraud charges. Some include faking car crashes that led to major settlement payouts. Welcome to KREM 2 News First at 4. I'm Jane McCarthy.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Tom Sherry. Well, before charges were filed, Ron Wells became well known to the Spokane community for his renovated buildings downtown. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley shares a look at what Wells has done for the Spokane community over the years.
News of the indictment charges against developer Ron Wells and several other Spokane County residents shocked the community. After posting this story to our Facebook page, we received this comment from James Turner, who says he's been an employee of Wells for more than 18 years. He adds Wells has done more for Spokane's downtown than anybody. We looked back at the projects Wells worked on in downtown Spokane and didn't have to look very far. His most recent project is renovating the Ridpath Hotel into apartments.
Let's make these the nicest apartments in Spokane.
Wells became inspired by historic buildings and made it his mission to preserve as many as he could. Doing so helped revive Spokane's downtown at the same time. Many of his projects qualified for historic tax credits. You can find most of the buildings he saved spread out along Riverside Avenue, 1st and 2nd Avenue, and a few in Brown's Addition. The Eldridge building on 1st Avenue now houses Rocket Bakery and Fringe and Fray. Down Riverside Avenue, the San Marco building, and this one overlooking Peaceful Valley are just a few of the buildings Wells transformed into apartments. Back in 1996, Wells discussed plans with Avista to renovate the steam plant. Reports say the steam plant became Spokane's first building to receive the National Preservation Honor Award. It recently underwent some additional renovations and remains an iconic feature in Spokane.
People respect the history.
You could say Wells played a major role in reviving Spokane's downtown over the years, and today new developers are following that lead. He previously told KREM 2 he always had faith in its potential.
It had the potential to be spectacularly vibrant and alive downtown.
Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
We received a letter from Wells' attorney saying he plans to fully cooperate with the investigation.
However, his ability to cooperate was impacted 9 weeks ago when he was put into a medically induced coma for 3 weeks. This came after a setback while he was recovering from surgery. In other news, a consumer alert for you now. STCU says it received several reports today from both credit union members and non-credit union members saying they received official looking but fake emails asking them to log on to their STCU accounts.
Yes, STCU says it appears the emails are being sent at random. The emails ask the recipient to log into their credit union account by clicking a link that takes them to an unsecure website. Once at that website, then recipients are asked to provide banking information. This is, of course, a scam. For more information on what to look out for, head on over to our website, krem.com. And the verdict is in for a man accused of yelling racial slurs at a group of teens at a Coeur d'Alene McDonald's. It all happened back in July. A jury found Richard Savinsky guilty of battery and not guilty of malicious harassment.
In other news, homelessness is a big issue facing the city of Spokane. Today, Mark Hanrahan sat down with Spokane Mayor David Condon to talk about homelessness in our community.
Mark has more on a story that we're working on for you for our 5 o'clock newscast. Mark.
Yes, good afternoon, guys. Homelessness is a complex issue with no simple solution. And in recent weeks, it's been top of mind with that encampment in front of City Hall, debate over funding for warming shelters, and the city's sit, lie, and protecting public lands ordinances. Yesterday, we heard from demonstrators who think the city is being too harsh on the homeless. So today, I asked the mayor if he thinks he's being too harsh.
It's absolutely false. You have never seen in this city's time a more emphasis and initiative well before it became popular to protest. We're years into this. You'll see it. Anybody that does their research will see that I had committed years ago to address the issues facing the most vulnerable.
In our interview today, the mayor stressed that his administration is doing a lot to help the homeless. He also said, he made it clear to me rather, that he does not support what he called lawlessness. We'll hear more from the mayor coming up new at 5. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Mark. To weather now, we've been seeing above average temperatures for quite a while. Now some wet weather moving back into the area.
Yeah, it looks like we could see some rain. We're seeing some rain happening right now, and we'll look for that to continue during the or at least the early evening hours. Here's a look at the Doppler radar, and as you can see, we've got the rain across eastern Washington already beginning to dry out in central Washington. We'll probably keep the rain going till maybe 7, 8 o'clock tonight, and then I think we'll see decreasing showers. When you take a look at the forecast over the next 12 hours, again, best chance of rain 5 o'clock, 30% chance rain at 7, 20% chance of showers at 9 p.m. and then the rest of the night actually looks like we begin to clear out, and that's why we think we'll see partly cloudy skies tomorrow. I do have a chance of lingering rain tomorrow morning, but generally speaking, we're looking for drier weather for much of the day. Partly cloudy with a daytime high of 37, so that's quite a bit cooler than what we've seen all week long. When you look at the weekend forecast, Saturday will be mostly cloudy. Snow could develop Saturday night. Did you hear me? Snow could develop Saturday night, and then we could see some light snow or light snow mixed with rain on Sunday, and a high of 37. And we're flip-flopping back on Christmas Day, Jane. Could see a little rain develop on a little snow develop on Christmas Day. I'll talk more about that in a few moments.
All right, thank you, Tom. President Donald Trump announced today Defense Secretary James Mattis will retire at the end of February. On Twitter, the president writes in part, quote, "During Jim's tenure, tremendous progress has been made, especially with respect to the purchase of new fighting equipment. General Mattis was a great help to me in getting allies and other countries to pay their share of our military obligations," unquote. This news comes just one day after President Trump announced the withdrawal of U.S. troops from Syria. President Trump says a new Secretary of Defense will be named shortly. And House Republicans have added President Trump's demand for border wall funding to the Senate-passed bill to avoid a government shutdown.
Whitney Ward tells us the battle is far from over as Democrats vow to oppose the wall. Whitney.
Yeah, there's been a lot of rhetoric today, but here's basically where we're at. So after an hour-long meeting with the president this afternoon, House Republicans have put forward an amended version of that Senate-passed bill. It's to avert a partial government shutdown. So the new bill does include the president's demand of $5 billion for a border wall.
Essential to border security is a powerful physical barrier. Walls work, whether we like it or not. I've made my position very clear. Any measure that funds the government must include border security.
Some House Republicans also wanted to add funding for disaster assistance in that spending bill. That's one area where there could be some common ground with Democrats. So this House GOP proposal now includes $8 billion in disaster assistance. So if that proposal is allowed to come to the floor and it passes, then the Senate would also have to vote on it, and that may be more difficult. Definitely getting closer, but we're not there yet, and the deadline is 11:59 tomorrow night. Jane, Tom?
Whitney, thanks for the update. Today, the House of Representatives passed legislation to award Spokane native Steve Gleason with the Congressional Gold Medal.
Wow.
Yeah, they agreed on it, too.
Yeah.
It's the highest honor Congress can bestow upon a civilian.
Steve's bringing people together.
Yeah.
Senator Patty Murray applauded the House's passage of the bipartisan legislation.
Steve has become a passionate warrior for ALS survivors and their families. Through his Gleason Initiative Foundation, Steve actively supports critical research efforts to combat ALS and has helped raise much needed public awareness about the condition, while also providing ALS patients with leading-edge technology, equipment, and services to help them not only live with their ALS diagnosis, but thrive.
Well, there is one last step that must be taken. The legislation must be signed by the president. Steve Gleason would be the first NFL player ever honored with the award.
Congratulations to him.
You bet.
The week